Oh, that would help, wouldn't it? Just going to make sure. Again, please drop me some text. Oh, what a nightmare this evening. Oh, technology, 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 technology. That's all I can say. It's just mad. I'm here. I am here, just going to stay live for a little while. See who can join me. Oh, that's all I can say. Oh, I'm just trying to sort out the little messaging thing. Shouldn't take me a second, so I can see your comments as it comes up. Right. Fingers crossed. Let's put in a test down there. Let's test and say hello, so I can know. I know if you're there, or if this IT malarkey's decided to play. Oh dear. Hello everyone. Oh, I feel blessed that you've all just hung in there with me. What a nightmare. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's madness. I'm just going to hang about for a little bit, just to give other people give some other people some chance of getting in here. Hello, hello. It's wonderful. Thank you for saying hello, and thank you for sticking in there with me. Oh, just when you think that you've done all the check all day, you know, the works, and then suddenly it says, no, I'm not going to work. No, I decide I'm not going to work. That's it. Manners. So say thank you again. I'm just going to hang in there for a little bit. Oh, bless you. Thank you everyone for your kind words. It's so fantastic. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, oh, you can see sweat from my eyes. Nightmare, but who's Vazabar? I'm sure hopefully you've all seen that film, so you understand. Oh. So I hope you don't mind staying on a little bit longer. I don't mind. I'm here. I'm looking forward to this. Apart from the madness, I am looking forward to doing this colouring section together. There we go. Oh, thank you so much. Yes. Oh, Oh, I'll get over it. I'll go and have a nice hot drink later. I didn't even get a chance to make my coffee. But anyway. Oh dear. Right, I'm going to stop the giggling and I'm going to move on. So let's move on. So hopefully as people see that we're on and will come and join us as we go along. So what you can see here, I'm back in that room where we look at what we're doing in terms of the module, in terms of how long we're going to spend looking at that particular module. For us, mushroom, for the module 1 mushroom, we're going to be looking at this until about 6th of October. It's only around about, because remember it's about us colouring together and going through all of it together. I'm only setting these boundaries so we have something to look at and work towards, because it'd be nice rather than just let it drag. So we'll see how we move. I've just seen your wonderful, I think you're right, Howard, that's exactly what I need. Sorry, Will, why am I calling you by your surnames? Because of the way it's come up on my screen. As you can see, I'm going to have a little look over what we did, last time, which was review the cap. And then we're going to do a bit of the colouring of the ring. And then do the bit, sorry, I should remind you, if you haven't been, it is slightly delayed in my mind. So if I fumble a little bit, that's why. Let me just recap and go back again. So I'm going to be looking over the reviewing of the cap that we did last time, which was the 3 reds, where we look at seamless blend and looking at how to make a flat image, got some dimension by using colours. Today, hopefully we can get through looking at colouring the ring and the stalk of the mushroom. So I'm going to move on to the next bit. And remember, as you're going along, please put the questions in there, in the chat. If I can't answer it, there'll be somebody in the community that can respond to it. So as I said, remember, it's all of us colouring together. And also to remind everyone, I'm a volunteer. I'm volunteering doing all of this. I'm like you. Just over a year ago, I started the Ink Lily course. And I've been part of this group since. And I just feel really feel good about us coming together and doing this. So this is brilliant. It's all been grown out of us coming together. So I'm just going to roll down this. So if you remember, if you had a chance, even if you wasn't with us the last time, if you've had a chance to look at it, or watch it rather, we were using 12, 15 and 2, 4, 1. This is why I was talking about the 3 colour blends, and it was the reds. Today we're going to focus on this side. WG1, WG2, WG3 and WG5. I've put down the WG202 because some of us don't have or access to the WG1 because of not having the ink or for whatever. So I thought that I'll find a colour that was close to it. If anybody has found a colour that's even much more closer to it, please share it so that we can all have a look and try it together. So do try this one if you don't have. The 202. if you don't have the the WG1. Now, just going to put this here so I can see it. Okay, so as I was saying, just a quick review. Just going to move that so I don't get in the way. So just a quick review of what we covered last time we was together. Was this part. Also, let me know if I'm too far or too close, if you want me to come closer, and I'll zoom in. I think just slightly, maybe. There, but let me know if that's too much. So, what we did is that there. So what we looked at was colouring the base, which was the lightest colour, which was 12. And then what we did is we went in with the next colour, the mid colour, which was 15. And then we started even more thinking about how the dark colour 241 would help to make this curve so that it's not flat. It's had this curve movement. So the way we did that was to start out with the dark in this case, once we've laid everything down, and then use the mid colour here to drag the dark colour in so that it would blend and start to give that sort of shade on the outside and curve lighter to the lightest. And also we looked at how we can start where we feel comfortable with doing strokes around here. The other thing I wanted to share is that today, this is a new one because I thought, oh, let me try this, which was going around this first without thinking about anything else. It's just to go around each one of these with the lighter one first. So all the holes, I coloured that in first and then did the other bits. And the same, anytime I was doing the colour bits, the next one down, so 15, I did the same thing. So I thought I'd share that. That might be something that you might want to try. Has anybody had a chance to do it, or part of it, or have done it already? No? I'm going to continue. So you drop that into the comments. That'd be fantastic to know. Okay, right. So what we're going to do after that, I'm going to zoom it back out. Sorry, I'm still a little flustered, but I will calm down once I get going. So what we are going to, because remember that when we first started on the cap, that we only concentrated on one half, this half. It's because of time. Otherwise we're just going to spend hours and hours just doing it, which of course we're going to do that, but just to make sure that we get through all that we want to get through together, it's better to just go through half. So I'm going to do the same all the way down. I'm going to just concentrate on this half. So, as I'm going to remind you, the colours that we're going to use today are, let's bring it here, WG1, WG2, WG3, WG5, and 202 WG is to replace WG1 if you don't have the refill for it. As I know a few of us, I was in that same situation. And then I found it somewhere. I don't know where it was, but suddenly it appeared. Happy days. Right, so I'm going to start with the WG1. And we're going to start off here. So let's just a little bit. There, I think that's enough. Let's see. What's all of this doing? There we go. Now I can see your chat. So I was thinking, what's going on? There we go. Yeah. Yeah, it is. That's fine. That's fine. Let's put Xena. Yeah, that's fine, Xena. Ah. Yeah. Yeah, that's what happens when you like me tidy it away and put it in a safe place and then can't find it again because it's so safe. I do that quite a lot. Okay, right. Let's have a look at this bit now. So I'm going to start with the WG1, which is, as you remember, what Mel says, the way that she does, she's doing it at the moment with us, is to start with the light and then go gradually to the dark. So let's start with that first. So I'm just going to start here and slowly, remember, we're not rushing it. As I've always said, what we don't finish today, we can meet another time to do it together. So that's all cool. Is anyone colouring along with us tonight? Because it's nice if we're colouring in together. There. So now what I'm going to be doing, or what we're going to be looking at, is the curve. If you remember, Mel was also saying about the shadow, and because this is under the cap, so we have to look at how we're going to do this. So I'm going to pick up the WG2, and usually what I do, I don't know, some of you might think about, maybe you have different ways, so please share it. I tend to use a color in the range that I'm going to use to say where the shadows are. So what I'm doing here, because I'll judge it when whatever I'm coloring in. So in this case, I'm going to use the WG2 to say where I want the shadows to look like, or where I want them to be rather. So here I'm going to use the WG2 to put it down here, because I want the shadows to show, the shadow here to show that it's curving upwards. So the other thing is that we also want to think about not just upwards, but the movement. You can see that it's sort of curving. And what I find useful is looking at the lines, the way that the lines are moving. They're sort of moving in this direction. And also not just the lines, in between the lines, I will follow it. That's the, I try it from there and then see how it sort of flows and fills in between. But that's how I find it. Oh, lovely, Will. So let's try this together. And you see, what I'm doing is I'm stroking. I'm not, yes, it's flicking, but I find it, in this case, just thinking that I'm stroking it helps. I'll go down to here. Now I can see that I've missed a few bits, so I'm just going to go back in there. Because that happens sometimes, even with me, it happens that you're going to see me probably do a lot of that down here. Is that I'll miss a bit. I just go back in and fill the gap. It's no, you know, it's getting filled. You know, that's the way I say it. It's getting filled. Not a problem. So that's me saying, okay, I want that area down here to be darker. So we're starting to make it look more curved under. Now I'm going to add, as we were showing, another color down the bottom here to make it even more underneath. So this is WG3 that I'm going to use, and that's the other thing. Whatever you feel is comfortable, you turn it. You'll see me start, turn, because you may feel that, okay, I've started here, but that's uncomfortable. Turn it. The other thing is, you know, I may have started here, but there's no reason that you can't start this side. So I'm going to just start this side and upside down. Oh, don't worry, Jackie. We were all late. My fault. My fault. Technical issues all over the place. So you're actually on time. So you can see I'm just stroking. This is why I feel now, not just, I'm stroking it. That's the way. So you can see I'm just going back and forth until I feel, and you notice that I'm stroking towards the way that the lines are. That's the way I'm thinking. Okay, so I'm thinking in this corner here is going to be a little darker. In this corner here. Remember, we can move color. So I'm going back in with the WG2. Oh, I feel myself calming down now. So I'm going to stay the same way. And the good thing about this is that, if you remember, color can be moved. So in this case, what I like to think is that I'm moving the dark color into the WG2 area, you can call it that, but be careful not to go right to the end, because if you go right to the end, as I said, your moving color will be moving all the dark color that we've put there. Unless that's what we want to do, because it's not what we want it to look, or what you like it to look. So I'm going to do the same thing from here. You see? So that's where I'm starting first. I'm thinking of stroking it up, just to pull it. Just to bring it up like that. Yep. And then I will turn it around. I'm going to be thinking more about the flick now, because you'll find that the flick, because of the thin parts, the thin strokes, I should say, it's easier to blend, I find. So let's start from up here, and the same thing, still thinking about the area and the direction. So remember, you start high if you're not sure, and then once you see the color laid down, that is the pressure. you've got the pressure. If you're not sure, like I'm doing here, and then go down. So you can hold the nib much higher, whereas I don't want to too much because otherwise you can't see what's going on. But it's actually better if you can do it like this, because then you're more likely to get a thinner line. But it's fine. I'm quite happy to do it like this. Okay, so now the last bits. Remember that we started off by putting our base down, which was WG1. So we need to get our WG2 to smooth into it, to blend into it. So again, it's up to you. I feel that I want to do the pull first. I personally feel as if I've got more control if I do the pulling. Some people might feel, yep, I'm good to just flick straight away. So, can you see? So you can see I'm pulling. Yes, I'm flicking, but I feel in my mind I'm pulling it down. And I'm just going to keep going until I think, yeah. There. So the other thing, remember, we can move colour. So I'm just going to turn it back because I feel that I might want a little bit more colour. I just want to have a look. You can stop if you feel that yours is okay. You can stop, but I'm going to do the sweeping so that in a sweeping motion. Because I got some little gaps there, so I'm just going to fill that in. Okay, now I'm going to leave it to do its thing, as Mel would say. So, as I was saying, we're only going to concentrate on one half because just want to be really good for us to do that, to at least get through one bit together as much as we can. Before we do that, I'm just going to zoom out a little bit because I want to share something that I had problems with when I first started, was working out what is in front, what is behind, what is curling. Can't see it. Complete. What am I looking at? But what I find, it is good to start off doing that, because okay, we've started off with the cap, but you might think, actually I want to start off down here because of the way I'm thinking. I feel more comfortable starting down the bottom. But then how is it that you make that decision? So this is the bit I'm referring to mainly. I found it really sort of strange is the word, not diff, but strange, and sort of trying to find where these areas are. So the first thing is that I looked at where these three these lines are, not three, but these little lines are. If you look down, there's another set here. And you look down again, there's another set here. There's another set here. There's another set here. And another set. And another set. So the way I looked at it is, okay, which one do I want to start with? I can't always assume, well, I don't always assume that's the one behind that I want to start off with. Because looking at it, I might say, you know what, for this time round, starting with the one on top. So I'm going to look at this bit just to talk about. We'll come back to this. If we've got time, it'd be great. We'll do this bit together. So this one's on top. We can see this clearly. And this one is behind. I didn't see that straight. Maybe it's me, but I didn't see that straight away. And the same thing here. This is following behind here. And this is around here. And this is clear. Yeah, that's a grass bit, grass. So the thing that I started trying to do first of all is trying to follow it all the way down. I thought, no, treat each bit as it is. So if you haven't done it, or try looking at that bit first, then that bit first, and then look at each bit. So the reason why I'm saying that is that when we come to here, I'm going to be doing exactly the same thing. I'm looking at this. I'm just going to focus on this side now. Is that we've got the ring here. We've got the stalk down here. And then we've got the grass here. And we've got one here. So we are going to keep in, in terms of one on top of one, because it is the image, isn't it? So we're going to keep doing that. But it's understanding where do you feel that you want to start. So we will start with the ring, and then we'll work down here. I'm going to do here slightly differently than what is in the course, because I just found it easier. Once I found it easier to use. So if you've got other methods, please share. So I'll just show you what I do, or my way of thinking. what I do. I change depending on what it is. I don't just say this is what it is. So oops, is that too close? Let me know, everyone. So the way I'm looking at this is hair. I'm seeing these as strands of hair rather than pleats. It could be pleats in a skirt, or you may think that's easier, but I'm thinking of this as hair on someone. So I'm seeing where there's bits that might be darker, lighter than each other. That's where this is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm seeing when I'm doing this. So I'm going to turn it upside down. And again, if you prefer to go the other way, I'm going to do it the other way. No, I'm going to do it the other way. I'm going to do it this way. So as I said, I'm only going to go up to here. So if you remember, we're going to start off with a WG1, and I'm going to start flicking down. Can you see? Because the other thing I like to do, as I was saying about here, I like to use the WG1, or the lightest color I'm using, to state where I am coloring in, because it helps me to focus in that's where I'm coloring it. that's how I tend to use the lighter colors as well. So remember I was saying that I see this as hair, so I'm going to treat this as if it's hair. So I'm stroking it. I'm stroking it down, still remembering that we shouldn't leave any gaps underneath here, so that it looks together. So at the moment, I'm not flicking, I'm stroking. And guys, no, you're not flicking? No, I'm not. Not at this point, anyway. So, as I said, I'm only going to go just to there. So down here, I'm looking at it the same way. I'm looking at the hair, the bottom of the hair. That's how I'm looking at this. So I'm going to follow, as we did here, we followed how the lines were going. So here we're going to do the same. We're going to follow how the lines are. So down here, can you see I got it in the middle? And down here. I do love this. This is just so calmed me down straight away. I feel so much better now. You can see what I've done is I've gone all the way along the edge. I remember in our course, Mel did mention about the white bits. You can leave white bits here. I'm not going to consciously think about leaving the white bits. If the white bits are there, they're there. So I'm going to keep just colouring away and not worrying about whether there is white bits there or not. But if you want to consciously think about the white bits being there, please do. But I'm not going to. I'm just going to keep going and think about, does it look nice? So now I'm going to go in with the WG2 and I'm going to go back up here. And remember, I used the WG2 to identify where the shades are. So I will be turning this around again because yes, we want it to be, so I just want, yes, I want it to be sort of that we need to make sure that it's underneath here, but also I'm looking at where the lines are because I'm treating it as hair. So I will be doing some flicking rather than stroking. But really, remember, if you're not sure, in the air and bring it down. As soon as you see the colour, that is the pressure. So again, and also I'm not going to worry at this stage too much about the curves on the outside. Sometimes I will, and there are times that you'll find even here I might do that. It's that I think, you know what, I can't really work out how much that curve is going to look like. So I might just go in, do what I need to do, and then go back and see, okay, how does that curve fit into this and how much does it have to look? So I tend to sometimes do that. So I'm just following the. I was just thinking, because I was going to share mine. Does anybody have a special cup or mug that they use for crafting. When for your hot drinks. Mine's not near me, unfortunately, but I will share it to you. I'm going to post it. Mine is Tigger. I love Tigger. Bounce is on the other side. Has anybody else got anything? You see, I'm just flicking away. Can you see that? And now, what I'm going to do, just make sure that I feel that I have got those curves. I'm looking in here and I'm seeing that there's a bit here. I might be being too, you might think, oh, this is just too much detail. Then do what feels comfortable for you. But I love doing it like this way because what it did do, it did help me when I came to doing hair. So now I really do look at doing anything like this and I treat it the same way as if I'm doing hair. Oh, wonderful. I'm not the only one. Oh, dear. Yeah. I understand that one. Pink mode. Oh. Grayson. I love that. I love that. I do have, I'm going to share this with you. Hopefully I can show you in the camera, maybe here. Remember here? I do have this, the London Eye. I'm going to zoom out so I can show it to you properly. I'm going to share this with everyone. And this is why I keep my pens. When I'm thinking of a project that I want to do and the colours I want to use, I have this mug on its side and I rest them on their side like this. So that otherwise, it can be anywhere. Right, let's zoom back in. Oops, have I gone in too much? So, I'm still on the WG2. Let me know if this is okay, you want me to pull out. Alright, so I'm going to leave that like that. And I'm going to turn it. And I'm going to do the same, I'm going to have the same thought when I'm going this way. So I'm seeing as this bit here having some kind of a shadow. So I'm going to flick gently, remember in the air if you're not sure, and down until you see the colour, and then you've got it. That's the pressure. And I can see as if there's a gap here as well. So I'm going to do, not gap, sorry, an overlap as well. Here, or a pleating. And I'm going to do the same here. So I feel as if there's some kind of a curve there. You might see your curves in different places. Do so. Yeah, I just use anything like that. I mean, this helps me so much having the mug beside me like that. And it's big. I'm not looking around for the mug after all of that. So So I'm going to do the same thing here. There isn't yet, I can't really see as many sort of lines and pleats here, but I'm still going to give, I'm not going to worry about that because we can move. There. So I'm just going to do a little bit. And I'm doing, yep. Oh, I'm going to keep going until 6 o'clock at least. So if everyone's happy to continue up until 6, and then we see how we are at that point, if you're okay with that, just thought I'd share that. So in case, because we started late. So I just want to gauge, because, you know, I have shifted everybody's schedule for the evening, which I apologize for. So please let me know. I don't want to just jump in. Jump in. Oh, thank you, Will. Right, so we're going to go in with the darker color. That's another thing that I tend to do. I don't always go all the way down the line because I can't always see it. That's me personally. I can't always see where the dark shades are mixed in. I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to try straight away with the WG5. Okay, thank you, Zena. So I'm going to turn this back around. And here, if you remember that we were taught that underneath here is the darkest part. So I'm going to be dotting to begin with. Yep, I'm just going to be dotting to begin with. Right, so hopefully you can see that it has become quite dark. And then, so literally all I've done is gone straight across down there with the WG5, just dotting. And then now I'm going to go in the WG3 and I'm going to be doing the pulling. So I'm going to start from this side. And you notice I haven't thought about the pleats or anything like that yet. Here I'm just concentrating on getting the depth here. That's where I'm thinking. You see, I'm just pulling. I'm doing that pulling. This way, it's more like I'm pushing. But in my mind, I still feel as if it's pulling. I'm going to turn it round. I'm going to have a look. I'm looking for where I feel that I can add more depth in color with the WG3. So I'm doing it with you. So I'm looking, this is how my mind's thinking. So again, what I'd be looking at is here, where I've said that there is some depth here. So I'm putting a little bit under here. And where else? Here, I think. Remember, in the air, and then stroke down until you see the color and you've got the pressure right. And maybe I might add a few lines anyway here. And then, however you feel, you might feel that you want to add a few more. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to now the WG2, and now because I've gone into the curves and I've sort of thought about where I want shades and things like that to be, at this moment now I'm thinking about movement. So this is sort of sticking out here, so I'm pulling with the WG2, I'm pulling it down. I'm now pulling this down. Not too much. Remember, if you feel that you want to turn it this way and do it, just remember not to go right up to the edge of where you've gone dark. You want to go to the edge of, as much as possible, of the colour you've just laid down. You can go over because you might feel that you want to pull a bit more, you're looking for a certain technique, but or effect rather, but you know, just be aware of that, because you'll be moving and removing the colours. So you see I'm just stroking. You see I am doing exactly that. I am pulling a bit more of the colours down. And now what I want to do is go the other way. So I'm just doing it as I feel I want to colour it. And as I said, I'm thinking of it more as hair. So I'm thinking of it hair movement. That's what I've got in my mind. So now I'm going to go in with the lightest colour, which is the WG1. And I'm going to do the same thing to start off with, is pulling the two colours, the two sides, into the middle. Now I'm using the side, I'm not doing the flick. If you feel that's what you would like to do at this point, then, because that's the sort of feel and look you want, then, so at the moment, I'm just pushing it down. So now I'm going to go to this part, and I feel as if I want to flick, and I may even go back in with the WG2 to help me get this a bit more smoothed. But let's see how I get on. That's not too bad, is it? And as you see, as I said, I'm not too worried about leaving white spaces, but you can see there seems to be some white spaces where it's gradually just naturally been left. But for how long? So the other thing that you can see that I'm going to be doing now is going into that middle space, in that middle bit, and just moving the colour like this. just sweeping it. Now, the other thing that sometimes I think about when I'm sweeping it, I don't always just do it in a straight line, sort of sweeping like this in a straight line. I may sometimes feel of sweeping it down this way as well. So I'm doing it with the side. And you can see it's making it lighter as well, which is fine. There, because I think there is too dark. There. Okay, we're going to leave it to do its thing. Yeah. So, the next bit is this section down here. Ah, thank you. So if, oops, too far. So again, I look at it, even though, excuse me, even though I've colored one bit and I thought, right, so this is, I'm going to do this, I still stop and I still look at it and think, okay, is the decision I made earlier right? Or maybe I just don't remember. But what I will do is I'll look again and I'll say, right, where is the best part? Or where do I feel comfortable? It doesn't even have the best place as such. It might be just, well, usually it is where I feel I want to start. So what I will do is I'm going to start down here. I know that I found it quite a lot to colour it all in, and then so I tend to break it down in this way. So I'm looking for where are the small little bits that I can concentrate on. So I would, if we were doing the whole of this, I would have definitely have done this bit first, and then down here, oops, too much, sorry. Down here, I would start here, and I would start here. Definitely. I wouldn't say, oh, I'll do that one before that one, but I know these are definitely the two areas that I would start with, because it's less too overwhelming for me personally. So again, I'm still looking at, as I was saying, what is in front, what is behind. And I'm going to do it's where I would start is down the bottom, because this leaf, I keep calling him leaf, sorry, grass blade is going across there and it's covering here. So I'm going to start here with everyone. So there's a grass blade here and a glass grain here as well, blade here as well. So the other thing I do, so this is me thinking out loud with you all. So the other thing is that I'm looking at is how do they finish, because sometimes I need to think about where it sort of finishes, starts, so that I don't mix the colors up too much, and make sure that what the object is that object, or what the other side is, etc. I'm sure you understand, you know what I mean. It's just so that everything looks what they're supposed to be as much as possible. So I remember this bit being quite challenging. So we're going to do this together. Haha! Just put myself in a but we'll do it together. So again, I'm going to start with the base color, which is the WG1. So this is the other thing, as I was saying before, I use the base color, or the lightest color, to show me where I'm coloring in first. That's how I see it. Not just to say where the light bits are, or just a base color. It shows me where I'm working. So I'm going to go around here, because that's the leaf here. Remember, if you're not sure about the pressure, start up lightly and then go down, and once you see the color, that's the pressure. And then here, and what I remember is that there's a gap here, so I was always worried that I'd go in there or do something, so I would actually start down there above the stones. Let's see. You see where I'm using lines, so line strokes, next to where they're straight or curves, because I find it easier to manage rather than trying to do this and going up to the edge. Sometimes I do it, but more often I'm going to be doing it this way. Okay, so we've done that bit. Let's have a look down here. And again, you can see I'm stopping at every point. I'm not just saying, okay, I'm going to color finger. I'm going in there and having a good look to make sure that I'm putting my lightest color, which is the WG1 at the moment, to say where I'm coloring in. Now, here there's no line to say this is the ground. So what I'm doing here is I'm looking at the blade of grass and I'm seeing, right, the blade of grass is finishing there. That's where the stump is going to stop as well. You may decide that you want it slightly up. It's up to you, you know. There's no right and wrong. It's how you feel. Yeah. But that's how I sort of work out the bottom of that. There you can see I'm stroking. I always think in terms of stroking rather than laying down, or it's because it's a way of me finding patience. So I'm saying, oh, I want it to look lovely. So I'm stroking it, making it look lovely. And there. So that's the WG1 down. I'm going to pick up the WG2 and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to use the WG2 to show me where I feel the shadows should be. So let's look at this. Although we're just putting the shadow down here, this part still belongs to the stump, the whole bit, sorry, the stalk. So you still got to think of the direction. It's not just a matter of just colouring this in. It's still got to look as if it feels part of the whole stalk. So down here, where the stones are, I'm going to do some flicking motions rather than smooth. And you can see I'm going to do something different as well, but let's start off with this. So I'm just going, remember, from the top and down, top and down, top. Okay. And remember I was saying sometimes I'm not sure about how this is going to work out in terms of the curve. So I'm not going to beat myself about it. I'm going to leave it and come back. So I'm going to do that here as well. So I'm going to work my way around the base of the stones first. there. And then I'm going to do down here. Remember I was saying about this is where it ends, so it's going to be darker down there. So we're still going with this. I'm flicking and continuing to flick. Yep. And then I'm now looking at it and thinking, right, I want to do this part going down. So I will turn it. You see that? And I'm still keeping in mind the movement of the stalk. So this is again where it's up to you. You can start up here and go down, or you can go down and go up. I'm going to start from the bottom and come and go up. And the crazy thing is I can do this again. I'll start from the top. So this is just how I'm feeling at the moment. I want to start. Oh, that just reminds me. Hopefully it will still work. I wanted to show you what I have done, and hopefully it will work, is that I have used the chisel parts as well to do the flicking. Hopefully it will fit. So yes, that worked a little bit better. So you can see, oops, can you see that? I'm showing it to myself. That doesn't work, does it? So the chisel part has a bit, oops, is that okay, everyone? And there's that bit that goes down. There's a slant. The end of that slant bit is what I'm using to do the flicking. Yep, so I'm just going to go down there. Actually looks better. Oh, sorry guys. So that was another thing I wanted to share with you, that I sometimes use the chisel to do some of the flicking as well, not just the brush nib. So I'm going to turn it back this way, and I think I'm going to look at this bit now. So I think I'm ready to do that. So these bits in the middle. So I'm looking at this area, and it's going to be darker because it's got the blade of grass here and it's larger, and that bit of blade of grass over each other, there's going to be a darker shade there. So let me swap it back. Okay. See, I'm just putting a curve there. And then here, and I'm still, you notice, okay, I'm thinking about the curve and the shadow that the grass is making, but I'm still doing it in line of what's happening around it. So again, then here, I'm looking at here and I'm thinking, yep, I've got a better idea. Sometimes even at this stage, I'm thinking, let me do everything else. And then let me do that. Let me do that. So we're doing that part of thinking together. Now, as we've been doing, we've been going back to the darkest, and darkest. What I found better at this stage was, sorry, yes, I was using WG2. Sorry about that. Thank you for reminding me. Yes, that was WG2. Shall I give you a moment? Sorry, Will. I'll go even slower, Will, just to give you a chance. Sorry, Will. Thank you for it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the WG1. Because what we've been doing is laying it light to darker, to darker, to darker. What I found when I got to when I was doing this, I found it better for me to do it this way, sort of do the blending as, okay, thanks. All right, so I'm on WG1 and I'm going to pull and do the blending now. I'm going to wherever the WG2 is and I'm blending it in. And remember, when we were doing the first one, the cap, the other thing I was saying is don't worry about it drying. I was sending myself in all sorts of worrying about it drying. Would I be able to get it to blend? We'll just reactivate it. When we go over it again, we just reactivate it and it's fine. So you can see, I'm doing it till I feel that, yes, I like that shadow. I'm going again and all along here. Because again, what it helps me to do is to not go in too dark and make it more, I find I tend to make it more smooth if I do it in that level. Sometimes it doesn't matter, you can go, but there are times when, again, it's trial and error. I can't say to you, oh, it's when I'm doing this or when, but definitely when I was doing this the first time round, I found out that this sort of method was helping me. So I had to practice this method until I not got it perfect, but that I can work with it. All right. So looking at it, I can see that there are some shades. Sorry. Where's that coming up? Okay. Sorry, things are making noises at me. Sorry. What I'm now looking at is not just the shape here, but it's also the shape and the shading here. Because remember, I only focused on this part. So I'm going to go back in with the WG2. And I'm saying, okay, this part here needs some shading. So I'm going to put it in. And I'm going to put the shading on this side. So what I'm trying to share with everyone is that you don't have to think you have to do it all at once. Build the layers as you feel comfortable with. It's almost like multimedia. We've always been told by Mandy, work in layers. So feel the same way when you're doing this, work in layers. So you can see that I've gone along here, WG2. And I put a line here. And I'm going to go back in with WG1. And I'm going to blend it. And I'm using circular, no flicking. I'm only using circular to get the blending in. And on this side, where we've added the shadow on this side as well. Oh, there's a little hole there. Now, again, I sort of sit back, look at it, and I know I need a deeper color, but I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to go in with my darkest color. In this case, it's WG5. And I'm going to start over the stones first. So I'm going to put dots. With my WG5, I'm going to put in dots just over the stones. Start there. And why did I feel I want to start there? One, because it's easier. That's what I would think in my mind. So I'm thinking exactly this is how I'm thinking. And it is the darkest. Not only it's just the easier, you can see that it will be the darkest because of the way that it's sitting. You'd know that the mushroom would be behind it, so it will be darker. And I'm still doing dots. And what I'll do next, I'm still thinking, so I think possibly down here. Oops, down here as well. So I'm going to change it behind that long leaf. So let's go down this leaf. So gently now, and very lightly, we're going to do the same thing, is to add dots. So rather than stroke, I'm going to add dots. Can you see? Sorry, got it on my head on it. I can see that we've just gone 6:10. If everybody's okay, I'd like to at least finish this section with everyone. And if you want to start a little bit of this, then I'm quite happy to continue. But I at least would like to finish this because it will help with this part as well. Alright, so I've put all my little dots. And I'm just, you can see, I'm just looking down the bottom here. And I'm thinking where the stones are and it meets the grass, I feel as if there will be some kind of a dark creases there. And the same here. Sort of a slant angle. Right, I'm going to leave that like that for now. And I'm going to be taking the WG3, which is the in our list of 4 pens that we're using. That's the one that's slightly lighter than the WG5. So I'm going to turn it this way and start here. Oops, there we go. So again, I will be doing a little bit of flicking on this one, but I'm still taking into consideration the shape. Although we're just in here, I've got to remember that it's all still part of the stalk. So I'm going, shall I start? I'm going to start down the bottom again. And remember, you don't want to go completely over the dark color that you've just put down, because otherwise it's going to move it. So we want to, as close as possible, get to the end of where you last put the WG5. You see, I'm just flicking it and I'm turning it because I want to try as much as possible to keep in mind the movement. There. All right, that's that top bit. So now I'm going to turn it over and do the bit by the stones, I think, next. So do the same thing as we did up here, little flicks. Can you see? Now you'll see the next thing that I'm starting to do is I'm starting to, with the WG3, I'm making longer stripes. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Or longer flicks. All right, so now I'm going to go to the WG2, and I will come back to this bit, but I just want to focus on getting this part, the 2 dark bits that we've put down first. So again, see, I'm flicking up. Yeah, and I'm going to flick down. Now remember, we do need this area to be darker because it is going to be underneath this large blade of grass. Oops, sorry. So it will be darker. In the same way of this side, it will be darker as well because of this blade of grass. And there's lots of shadows, so it will be darker. So there's no, in case you wouldn't know, it's fine. It needs to be darker. So now, I'm going to look at this part here now. And what I'm looking at here is what are the other areas that need to be darker to make these, when I color the grass in, make them pop. So I'm going to go back in my WG3. So I'm going to first focus on the grass. So I'm going to look at the little one, and I'm going to do, remember we sort of did a curve line, didn't we? So I'm going to do the same thing. There. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Just gently, not in one hit, just gently take it up. And then I'm going to turn it upside down and around. You see? Oh, too far. This way. So that if you want to leave it the same way you've got it, then fine. But I'm just going to do it this way to bring it down. There. For me, it just helps at this stage, just for this one, to get that curve. So there's no right way or wrong way of holding the paper. It's holding it the way that you feel comfortable. And also, I always say, one day you feel you can hold it one way, and then another day you can't. Because I know that I'm not the only one who has in our group that, you know, has dexterity thoughts that, you know, when you're doing something, you need to think about it. So what I'm going to do now as well is I need to look at that bit, which I forgot to look at. So WG3, again, pick that one up again, and I'm just going to make a line along here. Yeah, all I'm doing is I'm just making a, yep. Now WG1, and I'm just thinking I'm going to try it with the chisel end. So the same thing as I was saying before. Let's see if I can get it into the screen. That the chisel end, I'm going to do at this, but hopefully it doesn't run out with me. The chisel end at the bottom here. So you see, I'm just swinging it, and I'm just pulling it. Oh. So how is everyone? How is everyone feeling? How you all feeling? How are you feeling out there? Just want to ask you if you're okay just to do the leaf, or shall we just try and meet again? Because the other thing, just to let you know, what I do want to do, I do want to do another session together, but what I was hoping that we can focus on then is the pointillism that is part of this, the module. And oh, thank you everyone. So if you remember what are they called again? The stones, rocks down here. Mel did some dotting techniques for the stones, and for grounding it, also some dotting pointillism was used. And also, the reason why I wanted to leave that together was so that we can use that as part of creating the textures, because the pointing, dotting is the same thing to use for creating textures, and also for over here, just using dots. So how is everyone feeling? You seem to be sending me lovely, chilled, relaxed. I tell you, I feel good after that madness. I feel so much better. So, is everyone okay to do a little bit more, or would you like me to stop? Because I said, I know I've sort of eaten into time that I said. Because what I mean by a little bit more, 6:30 cut off. A little bit more? Oh, okay. I will. Yeah? I'll do till 6:30. Maybe one session we'll talk to it, we'll work it out between each other. Maybe we do a couple of hours with a little break. Because that's the wonderful thing of this software I'm using. I don't get timed out until it doesn't want to work. But, which I think it was actually Facebook that was paying silly, where they have the cut-off time. But we're good. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to use my WG1 to do what to lay down where I want to start colouring, where do I want to focus on. So I'm going to do the harder bits, as I'm going to say, is down here, because you need to make it lighter than the back. So that's another thing that I tend to think about as well, is do I want to do the lighter bit or do I want to do the darker bit first? Because there is no sort of way that carry on. Oh dear, I feel as if so relaxed. I feel like just getting my slippers out, and I do feel like that. The community has definitely helped me to calm down and relax. So thank you. So I'm going to. So that's the thing. You sort of have to think about, where do I want to do the lighter bit first or the darker bit first? Because especially when we get to the roses, that's the sort of thing I had to start thinking about. Because sometimes I would say to myself, oh, it's better for me to do the lighter bit because I can't work out the darker bit. And then I'll say, oh no, I should have done the dark. So it's not like I do it this way. If that's the way, then fine. The other thing I tend to do as well is that, do I need a comfort break? Does anybody need a comfort break? I'm quite happy to go and come back. I can do it for coffee. That's one. That is one thing. But I'm fine. I've kept everybody out. so that we can have a nice quiet time together. So this is the other thing. Oh yes, the other tip I was going to let you know was that I would stamp something twice. So for example, let me pull out. So this is one of the samples. Because remember, to do anything I say for you to do, I'm doing it. I'm not just saying for everybody else to do it. I'm going to do it too. So the other thing I usually do is that I have one that I'm working on, and then I have another one that I've stamped that I will try stuff on. So if I'm not sure about light and dark, I would use my sample to work out whether I want to go light or dark. If I'm not sure about a color that I want to use in a certain area, I will use the demo, my scrap stamp to do that. So that's how I tend to work colors out as well. Even when I haven't started my main color, I'd use that as well to sort of work out, oh, actually, I don't like that color. That happens too. So that's another sort of thing I'll share with you. So back to the WG1. So I'm going to, as I said, I'm going to focus on these. And again, I don't do more than one at once. Not because I'm worried about it drying, because remember I was saying don't worry about it drying. It's just so that I can focus just on that one, and I'm not worrying about, oh, this one, what's that going. I'm focusing only on that bit that I'm colouring in, so that helps me. So the WG1, I'm just going to show myself that this is the one, this is the blade of grass that I'm working on. And now I'm going to go in with the WG2. So I'm just thinking, yeah, so that's fine. So I was just thinking, told you, this is the way I think. I'm thinking out loud with you. So WG2. And I'm just stroking here down by the stone rocks. And the same here. Now when doing the top of here as well, the top of the grass, I'm thinking about the shadow still that the grass, the large bit of grass here, is doing to these. So this one I expect it to be slightly more darker than this one in my mind. So I'm going to bring this more in with the G3. Yeah. It does help, doesn't it? So I'm going to go in with my, I was contemplating when I should go in my WG3 or WG5. I'm going to do WG5. And what I'm thinking of is doing dots right down here by the, I need to sort out my pens there. They're bubbling. I'll do that later. And I'm going to pick up now, because all I did with the WG5 was made little dots down here. Okay. So now I'm going to go in my WG3, just slightly to bring it up. And I'm going to use the WG5 as well, up here, to bring it down. And now I'm going to jump. I'm going to jump to my WG1, and I'm going to use them to stroke. Just stroke them together. Pull, and you might want to do this, the sweeping as well. Now remember I was saying about light, if something's light, if something's dark. You may at this stage thinking, I need a bit more shadow behind this. Okay, I'm going to do that with this one. I think this one's fine. But this one, I can definitely see already that we can probably do with a bit more shadow. But I'm going to leave it until I've coloured it in. So I'm going to say to myself which part of the image I want to colour in by using the lightest one, which is WG1. So see, just colouring it in here. So now that's focused me in to know that this is the area that I'm colouring in. As I said to you, this is how slow, when I really want to just relax, this is literally how slow I do. I do it this slow. So then now I'm thinking the same thing. How do I want, where's the darkness, where's the shadow? WG2 in this case is going to give me that sort of note. It's allowing me to make the notes of where I feel that this is going to be. So I'm going to start down here. Like I said, for some reason, for me personally, I think starting down by the stones is really easy. Well, makes it more easier for me. You may find starting at top, but I find where the darkest bit, where it's obvious, start there. So all I'm doing is flicking up from below. So I'm doing the same thing like I did here before. I'm thinking about where the blade of glass is finished and where it could be finishing, where the line of the stones are. And I'm flicking up just a little bit, not too much. And I'm thinking about up here as well. There will be some shadow because of this blade of grass. Sorry, yeah. So I'm gonna do the same. Yep. And where am I going to go now? Yeah, let's go straight down to WG5. And I'm going to do the dark bits here by just using dots. Like that. Right, I'm going to not use the WG3 just yet. I'm going to do the WG2 and I'm going to pull this up, and now I'm going to be thinking about the curvature of this. So I'm going to take the WG2 as much as I can, use the top of the nib and just draw some stroke lines. Remember, if you're not sure, hold it in the air. As soon as it touches, that is how much your the pressure is. You've got the pressure right. So the same thing, I'm going to leave it this way, and I want to do this side as well. So I'm drawing some here. What I'm doing here is what I would do on these. I would do exactly the same thing on these. So I would love the next time when we do is to do some of this, to show you how I curve, how I feel, think about when I'm curving it. So and I'm now going to go back in with WG1 and I'm going to just smooth that together. Now, and this is why I thought I'd leave it. I think I would leave it at this point. I would leave it to dry rather than working on it and working on it. I would actually at this point leave that side to dry, because it's quite easy to just go, oh, let me just do a little bit and let it do its thing. Just make sure you've got Mel's in your ears saying, let it do its thing. I just want to do this one, and then I will take a break. I will call it a night. Because otherwise I will have people stopping down here, because I'm on the what used to be called the dining table. I'm sure I'm not alone in that. This used to be the dining table. Now this is my craft table, which I only have about still this much to work on, and it's this big. It fits about 8 people over it, but I'm sitting on it like this trying to craft. So I'm going to just do this and then we'll stop. So again, WG1, because it's the lightest color, and it will tell me what, it will focus my mind on what I'm actually coloring in. So there, just do this bit up here. And the other reason why I wanted to just do this one as well, because it's very easy to not take into account that there's shadows coming from here, and these two might be creating a shadow, that might be creating a shadow on that a little bit. So this is why I always say this is what I do. Every time I go to do a bit, I re-look based on what I've done. I might see it slightly differently. I don't just assume that's the way I've seen it and that's the way it's go. I look at it. I don't like to use the word reevaluate. Just take another look to see what I do, because evaluate sounds like, you know, the bills. So now I'm going to pick up the WG2, and the WG2, again, remember I use it as a way of working out where I feel the shades are going to be, the shadows are going to be. So from the bottom down here, I'm going to go up from the bottom, just because we know there's going to be some kind of shadow and shade. I'm not going to worry again about how the shape is yet. I'm going to focus first of all on where I feel the shades are going to be. So I feel like there's the shade coming down here. So I feel there's going to be shades down here. Because the other reason why I do that as well is that sometimes you might be, I'm going to exaggerate this just to do. So sometimes you might see that this is going to be more of a shade over this part. So I will actually do this, because not only because I want to do the shape, but because of the shadow of that. So I might even create the shape of that shadow. I'm exaggerating, but that's the sort of thing I'd be thinking about. That's the reason why I tend not to do the edges first. I focus on what is creating the shade on what. And the same here. I was thinking, okay, it's not really doing much, so I'm just going to think of the shape. So now I can think of the shape. So I'm now going to look at using the same WG2 and doing a stroke. Yep, still the stroke. I will put a little bit there. I'm just doing gentle strokes. And then I'm going to turn it around. Like this. And then I'm going to do the same thing like that, because what I'm looking for is for it to do that sort of can't show, but dome. a dome effect, almost, well, not almost, like what we were thinking of when we were doing the cap. That's what I'm thinking of here. So I'm going to do the same thing again. Do a stroke. There. And now I'm going to go back to the WG1. I'm going to say sometimes I do it like this because I find it helps to blend it better, and then I go in with the darker one and see how that looks. I find working in layers in that way is easier for me. I mean, it's be interesting to find out from yourselves any sort of techniques or anything like that that you found doing any sort of colouring that's helped, you know, with alcohol pens, that's helped to create a texture. Because remember, we're trying to build up our hints and tips sections of the guides. And look at that, it almost looks okay already, doesn't it? But shall we be picky? Yeah. I'm going to go in with my WG3. And what I'm going to do, go down here. And the reason why I'm going in with my WG3 as well is because I know I'm going to want to go dark here. So I don't want it to be so dark that you miss the depth here. And you see, this is the reason why thinking ahead is not a matter of skill set. It is just thinking ahead. It's just, okay, what's behind? What's the shadow? What if it comes more and more, the more you think about it, more you do it, then we think, oh no, that didn't work last time. You know, it will come. It will come. It's just every time. I know it feels like, oh, I've got voices in my head. I've got voices talking about, hey, oh, we all talk to ourselves when we're doing crafting, isn't it? So that's why I'm doing that at WG3 rather than WG5 at this moment. Later on we might add the WG5 there. So I'm not going up too high, I'm just taking it part of the way. You see that I haven't gone too high, and I'm going to do the same on the top. I'm going to turn it round to do that, so I feel as if I've got a little bit more control by doing that. And you see this line, I feel as if I want to do just a little bit more over it, just not all the way down, just a little bit. Let's see how that looks. And then I'm going to turn it over, and I want to do the same here. I want to drag that up, and I'm just bringing the WG3 a little bit up the side. I feel that I want to do that on that side, and I'm going to leave it like that. Now, rather than working my way back down through the WG2, I'm going to go straight to WG1. And I'm going to, and remember, I'm going to turn it over, use chisel edge, and use that to flick. Okay. So, hope that was okay. Let me just get it back to here. There everyone. Wasn't that I enjoyed myself? Look, this is what we've done together. We've done this together. This is brilliant. So hopefully I've managed to throw in some bits that I do, to think what I'm thinking. You must be thinking, oh my gosh. But literally what I was saying is the way that I'm thinking every time I'm doing one bit. I'm like, oh, that's exactly what I'm going through. Why am I coloring this color that dark and shades? If I'm not sure, the fact that I would have a dummy one, so I can play around with before I go on to the one that I want to call the one that I'm doing. So that's it for tonight, folks. I really appreciate everybody sort of sticking it, not even just sticking it out this long, for even hanging on when I was having all my technical issues and coming and joining. It's been brilliant. The other thing I want to, a few things I want to mention before we stop. Actually, one of them is the competition. You can get 20 quid, people, to spend on Highlight Crafts website. Don't miss out on that. What do you have to do? Post this. That's all you have to do, is post this. It is not based on skill. It is based on, this is what I've done and I am sharing with you, and to be in the draw. That's what it is. I go in there and I randomly pick somebody. So please, yes, we do these sessions together. And remember that I said, I keep saying, please listen to what Mel's, class, because I've done. That's how I learn. So you may be able to go a little bit faster, finish it, post it, and we'll still continue. So I'm still going to try and put another one in before, when is it's always the last day of the month, at 5 o'clock UK time is the cutoff. So I am trying to, as much as possible, get through it, so that, at least we've been through as much as possible of the mushroom, so that you'd feel comfortable. I know I'm saying, oh, do it, but I'm sure you just want to feel. So I'm trying to fit in as much of the sessions of us to colouring together, so that hopefully one of you can win 20 quid. Oops. We just put, and the other thing is, please don't laugh at my video. I did it just to have a sample out there of a how-to video, and that it had links to how to stamp and other things to clean and look after your stamps. This is a sort of thing that I sort of gauged that everybody was saying that they would like how to. Also, I would like to start, I don't want to start a poll. I think I'm just trying to find out from everyone what they would like to have in that. Because I was thinking of even asking Mel to do certain stuff with us. Because I know that people said that they would like to have a workshop. So as I said, I'll need time to do that. But now that our group's sort of settled down and we've got things going, we're working together, it allows me to to go back to Highlight Crafts, go back to Mel and ask her, how can this work? Because also, looking after these things, I think Mel needs to do that. Unless you can show me what to do, then I'll do it. So that would be brilliant. And again, thank you, everybody. Thank you for tonight, and have a good one. Bye-bye.